Hello, what's up, everybody? My name is Reynaldo, but you guys can call me Reynamations. If you like the music, it is made by the Fat Rat. And by the way, consider subscribing if you like the video. Not just subscribe right now or like this video. Nah, I'm not that type of person. Uh, Only if you like it, obviously, or if you stay tuned all the way to the end, because it's just live streaming. And I'm obviously gonna be keeping track of how many people are watching and like anything else. Here are the references that I have right now. I have right now a live stream right here going on where I could keep an eye on it. But I'll move that to the side. I'll just show you guys the references. Today we're gonna be animating in Blender Grease Pencil a volcano. Let's see if anybody's actually watching. Oh, wait, does it say it's one? Current views. Oh, thank you for joining me, the one viewer. So, let's just get started with the drawing session. First things first, let's go on to Blender, which is gonna be on my other screen. I'll bring up the drawing screen right here. This is kind of like where we left off in the last video, which if you haven't been seeing my videos, it's not up yet. But if you have been trying to keep up with my videos, obviously still not up yet, but it will be up after this live stream and everything like that. So we first made the volcano. We made everything in like a rough sketch, which actually was more like two sketches, and it looked more like that. And let me hide the clouds right here so you guys can kind of see the sketch. So this sketch took me about 15 minutes to make, and it was just to establish the shot. And the way that I'm planning to do is this animation is how the camera go from I'll go annotations or something like that, and have the camera go from here up to the side, and then this part right here, it's gonna go it's gonna move this way a little. It's gonna end up like this, but it's gonna start off slightly more in this like over here. Like if the camera was not here, it will be like this angle. At this corner will be somewhere here, and then it will move a little bit higher up as it goes up through the animation, giving the illusion that it is not just one foreground and everything, but you're actually looking at this as this guy is looking at this volcano from the distance. Now this was a special request from my girlfriend on Instagram. Not that the girlfriend is only on Instagram, it's just that my girlfriend suggested it to me through Instagram. Which, by the way, if you guys want to suggest anything, feel free. Let me know in the comments. I'm gonna hide pure ref because I don't really need that. And arrow YouTube not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming as much. Oh shoot. Well, hopefully it's not crashing on you guys. It's just it just says it has an error for me. Anyways, let me just get started with the drawing. First things first, let's go back here. Let me go back a couple times and see. And I have my digital drawing tablet set up in a way that I can do all this sort of things. Now, what I want to do is I'm gonna take this rough drawing, and I already have a layer with all the clouds. So instead of going into draw mode, I'm gonna go into object mode, and I'm gonna set this up in different parts. Right? One, the sky, then the rough drawing. But the rough drawing has to go above everything. So first add a new one. It is gonna be a grease pencil. It's gonna be a blank, and then over here in the area, I'm gonna name it. I'm gonna call this one volcano back. Volcano back. And then I'm gonna add another one, and I'll call this one volcano front. Another one. Today, grease pencil blank. I'll call this one that allows me to name it. Foreground. Foreground. And in the foreground, that's where you're gonna be seeing the person, like the character. This will be part of the foreground. This will be the midground, like the volcano, and then the area that's gonna be right here. And then this part back here will be the background, and obviously the clouds. I'm thinking the clouds should be two layers. One will be the background layer of the clouds, which will be the ones to go behind the volcano, and then the foreground clouds to go in front of it, although it shouldn't really matter since like the ones that go in front of it normally don't overlap it. Like this one goes in front of it, that one goes behind, that one's behind, that one's behind, that one is slightly behind, but it's like you can barely tell that it is. So, and all of this is just mountains. And obviously the sun. The sun, I'm just gotta do like a light, and then like put a light there, and then put it to emit a lot, and then have that light also have a circle around it, so then it gives the illusion of there being a sun. So I already have this all kind of planned out in my mind. Let's see if it works. Also, was learning different techniques on how to do the background. Let's see. I'm just gonna add a new one, grease pencil. I'm gonna call this blank, well, not call this blank, but blank. Let me move this down so you guys can kind of see what I'm talking about, what I'm working with. So rename this part. I'm gonna call this one graded. No, background. So background. Now the background is obviously the layer of it is gonna be somewhere else. So a good way to plan out what where it's gonna be at is like to just draw and then just move it and move the object itself. So let's see. Now we have the volcano back, volcano front, the foreground, the clouds, the base for the drawing, and the background. The base for the drawing has a lot of things like the sketches, the back and the front, which looks kind of like this. I did that in a separate video, so I could just take this parts, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this back, and then I'm gonna just copy it. So I could just duplicate this and then delete a bunch of things, but what I could also do is press A, or not like that, just, and then press Control C, and then go to tab, object mode. I'm gonna have this be on the volcano back, and then I'm gonna press Control V. Oh no, that doesn't work. Edit mode, Control V, or not, maybe draw mode, Control V, and let's see, seems like I'm gonna call this back. Let me hide the, is it this one's base drawing? I had the base drawing, and then Control V, edit mode, Control V. Oh, there it is. Alright, so now that I have that, I can just tap out of it, go, okay, and add a new one. This one's gonna be called the color, and then the color will obviously go underneath the dark the back. I'll call this back lines, back lines, back color or something, or I could just call it I could just call this lines. Now what I'm doing is essentially putting everything in its own separate areas, so then later on when I go onto object mode or something like that, and then I unhide everything, like kind of like that. Let's see, on the base drawing for some odd reason it has everything hidden. So if I had the if I get rid of the back from that, and then I had the volcano back here, outside it doesn't have the volcano back. So now I gotta do the volcano front, which would be I go back to the base drawing, and it'll be under the front. I go to tab, edit mode, press this, so then I'm only selecting the volcano itself. Press Control C to copy. Press tab, object mode, go to volcano front, add a new layer. I'll call this lines, and add another layer. I'll call this one color. Same thing. Color. Bring the color underneath the lines. Go to the lines. I could just hide this layer, the base drawing, and then I go to edit mode, Control V, Alt A, and then if I go to object mode, everything's put like that. Alright, so now if I go here, I could press G on this Y, and then bring it slightly forward, right? This, press G on the Y, bring it slightly back, and then I want to scale it just a tiny amount. What I want to do is hide the clouds, because right now they're getting in the way. So I'm gonna scale that again. And then place it where however I want. Now that looks already like 20 times better. Now we got the volcano. We got them all laid out nicely. And the best part is, like, if I colored this part, it'll be its own separate object, and that will be its own separate object too. And because of the fact that we moved them as an object, the origin point and everything that gets drawn, it will be drawn on the object, not on a separate area. And if it does get drawn on a separate area, we can always just like move the layers back or something like that. So we got the volcano down. We also got the background, if I'm correct, which should be under the base drawing. If I go back to the base drawing, right, I could get rid of the front because we don't need the front anymore. If we go back to the sky, alright, see, now we're seeing some effects that I kind of don't like seeing, but you know, if I go press N, actually, if I go to view and then go to camera view, camera to view, basically what I could do is, if you see me move the camera around, right, it should essentially keep certain areas above some other ones. I don't know why it's like overlapping it, but it is. Alt R 0. Rotate on the X 90. I probably should have not moved that camera. And put it back to where it was. I think it was right there. If I go back to the base drawing, because I'm in object mode, if I go back to the sketch and then bring those two forward, I can still see the sketch. Okay, so it seems like I may have moved it just a bit too much. Maybe it was somewhere around there. Alright, that works. So now we can kind of see like an overall picture of what we want. I am wondering what the heck is going on with the stream. Hopefully it is playing well with you guys, and my voice is coming out clear. I don't know why it's like flashing orange and yellow, no, like red and yellow over here for the kilobytes or something like that. Anyways, it still says it's poor. That's weird. The connection. Oh, and let's get down to the foreground. So foreground will be background, base drawing, foreground, foreground. Let's draw the foreground. Foreground will be essentially this one. So what we can do is hide the volcano drawings themselves. We can keep this ones. We'll hide the volcano ones because we don't need those. What is this one? Volcano front? Oh, that makes sense. Base drawing. In the front. Apparently the base drawing still has the front version of it. Okay. I can get rid of the front because we already have them like this. Good. Alright, so now let's gonna go to the foreground, which will be this one, and make it visible. Add a new layer. This one's gonna be lines again, and this one I will be drawing right here, which will be just press tab, draw mode, and I have this one set up like that. I normally have it set to dots, but I noticed something. If I go to line strokes, it looks like way better, and I like that. So stick with line strokes and just start drawing. Maybe I'll do some minor area like that. And then draw the character, so it'll be straight up a line like that. Now this character I did draw on like it like really quickly, because I wasn't trying to focus on the character. I mean, most of the animation is supposed to be about the volcano anyways. Nope, almost clicked the wrong button there. Maybe I'll give him like a jacket or something, or maybe a backpack. Maybe he's some sort of hiker. And some hair, or maybe like a hat. Yeah, a hat. And he's holding a stick, so I'm gonna put the stick down. Or you have the stick be bigger than like half about his size or something like that. And warp this around. Make sure I don't get the person himself. Don't make it look like it's some sort of pathway. Some plants. And close that off. No, anything that's closer has more details than anything that's further back, so keeping that in mind, I'm adding more and more details here and there. Adding some grass here and there. Obviously doing this on the same on the first layer, in the first frame. Alright, now it looks like he walked off to the side of a cliff or something like that. Maybe I'll have like some giant boulder or something like that right here. That'll be like a rock. Couple pebbles here and there. Animating takes time, so if you are really passionate about it, I definitely recommend you do that. Do it, but keeping in mind that it's gonna take you a while, depending on what type of animation you want to do, what sort of scene do you want to establish, and stuff. Okay. So now that we got like this rough drawing done, we could go down to the color. So make sure I add another layer to something I call color, just like everything else. Bring that one below. Now the reason why I haven't added color is because I want to establish all the bases for everything, and since the lines are supposed to be stretched out, and then it's gonna look like it's wrapping around this area. The camera, after all, is gonna be coming from this side. I want to make sure I give some extra details here. I'll make sure I don't miss anything. Maybe I'll have this rock kind of be that way. Fixing up my stylus the way I hold it. Oh, no. Almost messed that up. Now that looks kind of cool. And maybe have it zoom in. Yeah, that actually looks kind of cool. Have it be out here and then zoom in. So press, basically, I could go to object mode, right? And I have it be, press I to the when I click on the camera. Make sure I have the camera selected. So click on the camera, press I, and then location, because I'm not going to be working with the scaling or anything like that. I'm just working with the location. So I'm thinking in the course of like about 2 seconds, like 1, 2, it could be zooming in. So about 60 frames later, it is slightly more forward. So I go here, I zoom in, and I go and then move it a little bit more this way, right? Press I, location. So basically, it's doing this thing where it looks like it's closing in, and you can already see some sort of parallax effect happening, but in reality, there's no big changes happening. Oh, make sure I take that out. Click that out of it. So now we have it starting off here, going in slowly. By the time it gets to frame 60, it will be ready to explode, or maybe at frame 65 I'll start the animation where the volcano is actually erupting and stuff, which is obviously the main focus of it. So the animation itself could be maybe 200 frames. How many seconds is that? That would be, yeah, I'll just have it 200. I'll determine how many seconds I want it to be and everything later. Okay, now that's done, let's go back to the foreground, go to color, and I'm gonna do like the basic coloring for it. So go tab, draw mode, and I click on the paint bucket tool. Now I have all my things set up slightly different than most people for the paint bucket tool, and I go to that. Now this one's I had set up previously for the sky and stuff, but I'm gonna be using probably this one, and then I'm gonna add some extra ones, maybe something really dark, but like slightly gray-ish, and then I'll see how that looks by pressing shift and then clicking and moving it around. Oh, I'm pressing the wrong button. Oh, that's not gonna work. So plus I press control. If you press shift and then you start dragging around, you can do some really nice coloring. So first things first, pick out the basis color that I want for the ground. And all the rocks start here. And it's fine if I mess up on the tracing of it, right? Because all I need to do is lock that line 1 and then go onto sculpt mode, right? And then just start pushing to the areas that match up with the drawing itself. And that. So now we got that. Go onto object mode, and I go normally to object mode before I zoom out, for the sake of moving things around. Now I can press G, move it on this y-axis, bring it back so it's closer to the camera, a lot closer to the camera than everything else, because if we bring everything into view like the clouds, this should be closer. Press G on the I, bring it all the way up to here. Now if we go into the camera view, that should make it really big, which we don't want that, so we're gonna scale it, or press G, bring it over here, and then scale it. For some odd reason, it's scaling from this point, which makes no sense since we're in object mode, not in edit mode. Is it scaling from the from something else? Individual origin. How about that? Where's the origin? Oh, the origin's over there. That makes sense. So the best way to go about it is press Alt A and make sure I have both of them selected. A. Press Alt G. Move it all the way over to its origin, right? And then when I go into object mode, press G. Now the origin's over here. It's like I almost got the right scale, but not completely. Alright. Now, because I did that, now when I press play, and you see how this is like slightly moving into like a different perspective. The reason why that is because it's like an object off in the distance. That's why we can see things differently. So the closer I have it to the camera, the better it's gonna be. So I'm gonna press G, Y, click G, Y, make sure it's really close to the camera, and scale it again. It's a lot of scaling and placing. And then let's see how that looks, because I don't have that part being animated. But you can already see a major difference where it looks like the volcano is coming more into view compared to the character. The character's no longer the focus. Like right here, it looked like in the first frame, right? It looked like the character was the focus, and then the landscape was what he was looking at. But now, the more we go into the animation, the more it looks like the volcano is the focus, which is the goal. Alright, now let's go to colors. Well, we're still in colors, so let's pick out nice colors for the guy. Draw. I can just draw them in the colors. I'll pick this brush right here, and what I could do essentially is I have green, so I'll probably like green here. How does that look? No, I don't like that green. So maybe a greenish blue. Well, for that, I could always just tint the lines, but let's go down to see the highlights of this. Let's go for this one, and I'm gonna do a quick highlight corner around some of this, right? Because it's supposed to be kind of like a sunset, so best way to do this is to just draw over it, make sure it has like a nice highlight. Maybe I'll go here, press shift. I'm pressing shift, right? Oh, that makes sense. I don't have the right color selected. Now, cool thing is that for the highlights, you can always just add another layer and then have it be masked to this one. But I decided not to do that. But if you wanted to be more efficient with your work, I suggest you do something like that. Alright, see, we already got like a nice look. Sunset's coming through there. This area is getting cut off a little with the way that it's circulating out and stuff. Sun's barely cutting through this area. Essentially, that's the illusion that we're giving. and then I have this area be colored this way too. On the top of that, maybe I'll pick like I should press S to select this color. Click. Nope. Maybe I had to go here. Isn't it S? I wonder how I could do the color picker. What's the shortcut for this? Eyedropper, sample colors, renders. So, is there like a Oh, there's no shortcut for it. Odd. I should have a shortcut for it, but I don't. So I'm gonna click on this one, which looks slightly different than this. Is it? No, it's not. And slightly make this, add this to the list of colors that we're using so far. And I'm gonna add a slightly brighter, little bit more yellow version. And I'll add that version to it. And this will be the midtones. Not clicking and not even selected the right color at that point. Now the reason why I do it like this is because light bounces off of things, but it also goes around things, and it also goes through things. So by doing something like this, you can get some really nice results of everything. Maybe have some of the ground here be like that. Maybe his shadow will be this color. Alright. And this shadow. Maybe this whole entire area is like this color right here. And maybe a little bit of oranges right here. And take this corner, brighten it up. Maybe this corner too. And now we got a nice result of how the land looks. Let's see how that looks in overall sense. Not bad. It's not the focus either, so that's a plus. Alright. Now let's add some nice flat colors for the character. Now this doesn't really matter. I'm gonna give him like a red backpack. Although I could just color it like regular instead of using the paint bucket tool. I just color it like this. And all of this is being recorded too. Maybe I'll add like a nice blue for his pants. Some people wear jeans, like hiking pants and stuff like that. Some people don't. Since this is where the shadow is, it should be darker than this. And we're gonna have another tone of darkness to the bag itself. Now that looks nice. Maybe a nice purple shirt or something like that. Long sleeve. And then skin tone, somewhere around there. Doesn't matter. I just put that, and then put the skin tone. Hair color, I'll just go with black. Trade. And it already looks a lot better. Maybe I'll trade again, actually. Maybe I'll add some reds to it. And for the lines, I'm gonna add, make it look like it's a red cap. Maybe some yellows. And I want him to have like some sort of satchel. This, story, you want to have like whenever you're doing something like this, you want to have like a nice story to it. You can always do things like that. Add like a satchel. Maybe have him wearing boots, like a nice dark red for boots. Now, even though the character's not the main focus, he's gonna be the leading point to the focus. So having it be that, and then see how it looks zooming into it, and it already looks like so much better. The clouds look like they're getting closer. Now another thing that I want to do is I want to take this cloud, and this cloud, and possibly this cloud, and then have them as separate objects, like on a separate layer. No, as a separate object. So then I could move those behind the volcano, and they won't interrupt. Or maybe I'll just take this three right here. I'll take those three and then put them behind, and then this. I'll take all of these ones and then put them behind the volcano. That works a lot better. And since most of it is gonna be done in like one layer, I don't really need to worry about anything else. And for the animation of the camera, if anything, for when I am doing the animation, I could just take it and then what do I mean by take it? Okay. I would just I completely forgot where I was going with that. Okay. I'm like trying to think, like, don't you guys like hate that one, like when you're trying to think of whatever you were just about to say and then it's just you just don't remember. Okay, anyways, let's just get down with this. I kind of like the shade that I did with the character. I think it was this one. I'm not gonna use any of this color, just letting you guys know, but I am gonna be using this one again. I like that. I'll go to color. I'll make it slightly darker. Now the reason why it's slightly darker is so I can do this sort of thing. And then even slightly more darker. It makes it pop a little, shadow wise. And based upon the lighting, you could tell it's supposed to be a very bright light. So it's good to establish where you want the sun, because that way you can establish how you want the light to hit everything. I'm gonna take this color that I have for the that, and then probably pass it around here. And actually, I'll go over the lines, and then I'll pass it over some of them. Maybe just here in the arm. And here. Because it looks too much like the background, which means that I need to add for the base drawing, I should add the sky so it's visible. And that looks like way better already. Now we can take this foreground and hide it because we don't really need that. We already got the animation and everything done for that. Because it's just gonna be the guy standing still. Now we can go to the what's it called, volcano front. That's gonna be the first one that we're gonna be working with. So let's go on the color and then work with that. Draw. Now I'm gonna probably have to take a break because I need to use the bathroom. So hopefully you guys don't mind that. I would stop the recording, but again, it's a live stream, so it kind of suck. I know I could pause the recording pressing this. So I stopped the recording, not the live stream. That's why you guys can still hear my voice in the live stream, but not the music, because the music is tied in with the recording itself. So I'll be back. You guys can like go and see another video, come back to mine. I don't know. I won't take too long. Alright, I'll be right back. way, to see the volcano again. Oh, just stay tuned. Thank you. Thank you for being loyal. Oh, sorry. A loyal viewer. Alright, I'm pause it for you, or for the recording, then the music goes back to normal, although it's not super noticeable. Excuse me if I sound exhausted, I just had to run up a couple flights of stairs. Usually my workroom is in like a third floor, and the bathroom's like in the first, so a lot of running. Anyways, let's see, so we're working with the front. Let's go with the color. We are in draw mode already. Let me put my handy glove on. Get it, because it's a glove for hands. Okay. Cheesy jokes aside, let's go down to the coloring. What I'm thinking is that I'm gonna do is base color, which is gonna be like a brown, slightly, very similar to, well, probably the same browns as this one. And then because it's off in the distance a little, I'm gonna take this one as a tint, and then just tap on it, and you will see that it tints it just a smidge that color. Either that, or I could do like another layer and then I do a effect on it, which is probably what I'm more than likely gonna do. That way it doesn't use up. Alright, so press shift. Actually, if I press shift and then I make sure that everything here is like that. I can go lock up the line work. Remember what I said, just press tab, sculpt mode, and it just bring out this areas. I'm mainly focusing on this spot right here. I mean, it's gonna get covered, but you know, since the camera's gonna be moving, I don't want to take any risk. This area I don't really need to worry too much about. This part right here I do. So what I'm gonna do is gonna zoom out, and then I'm gonna grab it, and then voila, just like that. It's a very quiet process. I'm doing this. It's very relaxing too. If we wanted to add the what's it called, the foreground, we can. So you guys can kind of see how that's already looking. It's like a lot better, right? Alright, now let's go with the volcano. The volcano is gonna be different color, just slightly much more brighter. Maybe I'll take this color and then I'll do shift, or I could just press minus and then see if it fills it in correctly. Let's see. Cross fingers crossed, it filled it in, but not exactly the same. It's fine enough, I guess, because we can always just take one layer and then copy it. Like if we go to edit mode, right? If I go here like that, right, and then press L, Control X, Control X. Command C. X. Points. Control V. Enter. And tap. And go back to draw mode. And now we get the volcano and everything. See? Nice colors. Now for the shading, I'm gonna do another one. This time I'm gonna do a separate layer. In this one, I'm gonna call shadow, because it's gonna be a bigger piece. So this one I'm gonna do maybe a darker brown than this, right? Something like this. And then I'm just gonna go over it like this. Because the sun's over here, not right there. Although it should allow it to wrap around, so maybe something like that. And then I can have the shadow be masked to what's it called, the color one. And then I could always turn down the opacity of it. And look at that. That looks like 20 times better. And then I add another one. And then this one's gonna be the what's it called? Tint. I can already see just in the thumbnail sketch that the clouds are going over it, so I'm probably gonna hide the clouds for now. They're probably gonna be too much distraction. So I'm gonna go onto the tint. This one's gonna be a mask also. This one's gonna be to the color also. And since it goes over the shadow, it should go over everything, even the shadow. But I'm not 100% sure. Now this one, I do a blue, maybe this kind of blue. And then I'm just gonna be zooming in, maybe, nope, something like that. Press N, because I don't want to see that. And then press, and then just click. Oh, no. Oh, that works. Doesn't matter if it was a plus or a minus, right? So, because it's being masked to the whole entire object, what I could do is I could do a hard light or something like that. Or a soft, well, it would just be some sort of light, maybe an add. That makes it look like it's made out of snow. Kind of like the, what's it called? The animation that did with the penguin. Subtract, multiply, divide. How does that look if the opacity is turned down? And then I bring this in the foreground. I want one that actually looks nice. Like not too strong though. Yeah, that kind of gets the point across, right? Yeah, I like that. So I'm gonna keep that, because if without it, with it, I kind of like it without it too. It's kind of weird. Maybe I'll just have it at the like the strength of it not be too strong. So something like that or something. So it's not too strong. It's just enough that it makes it look like it's off in the distance. So now when I move, so you can easily tell that it's completely different object off in the distance. I like that. Okay. Same effect with the back of the volcano, and I also want to have light to it. So the light, I'm gonna do same thing as I did with the shadow. Add another layer. I'm gonna call this one light. Like that. And then I'm gonna go onto a orange tone, because that's what we've been using for mostly everything. And then I'm also gonna be masking it to the color, because everything seems to be masked to the color. I guess they must have fixed it, because I remember at some point I remember hearing that doing it like this was not gonna work for a lot of people, or it was not working for a lot of people. That looks nice. Maybe add like some hints, and then I go to the drawing, make sure I have the same sort of what's it called, color, so I could do that. And I'm just gonna be softly passing it over certain areas. Now the reason why I'm passing it over this corner is because the light technically bounces from this side and it goes around the object. Now it doesn't go completely around this one, so I gotta be careful about that. And then this one I could always just push forward. So for the light, I gotta make sure it is the tint and everything is locked except the light, so then I can always just warp it if I need to. You know, give some nice forms. Give references to the 3D form that it has. I don't know. I kind of like it like that. It's starting to come out really nice. The overall look of the animation. Even adding light down here, it will make a difference, because technically the light layer is in a different layer compared to the shadow and everything. I think the shadow should go above the light. So then when I do the light, the bounce, the small amounts of light, they're technically bouncing off certain objects. You know, it's not too powerful. Alright. And I'll turn the opacity of this down so it's not too strong, and sculpt it. Press tab, sculpt, and I'm just gonna be pushing some areas up, because certain areas shouldn't be having so much shadow. Like this area shouldn't have much shadow anyways, because at the end of the day that area doesn't get hit by the sun at all. This, I kind of like it warping around. Alright. Press tab again. Go on to object mode, right? So we can get to see of how it looks and everything like that in the overall sense. Maybe press play. I always like doing this. Draw everything, press play a couple times, see how it looks in a smaller version, which my smaller version, it would be either the version that I am seeing in the YouTube recording area, or live streaming area, or the recording software that I'm using, which occasionally tends to crash on me. Now the back. The back is gonna be slightly darker towards this area, but it does change colors, so we gotta keep that in mind. So a good way to have something that it changes color and have it be animatable, be able to be animated, it will be to create a new material, and that material should be a gradient, kind of like what I have done with the sky, which actually it is a material itself. So for that, it is as simple as going onto, since I already did this area, maybe the light should be hard light. How's that look? I don't know. It's too much. I kind of like it. Alright, so go on to object mode, go to what's it called, volcano back, like that, and then when I'm in volcano back, right, I go to draw mode, right, and then since I closed off all the areas, right, all I need to do is go to the fill, click on a base color that I want, right, and I want this color, so I'm gonna go on the minus, click, and it should, technically speaking, fill it all in, which it does, but the downside is I was in line, so go to color, do the same thing, and 5-4, voila, and now it looks really nice. Now if we go and put this, you can see major difference. Well, also another thing that I'm gonna do is make it slightly more blue, this area, so I'm gonna put it like this, and then I'm gonna press X and then click again, since it's done in the first layer, and it already looks like 20 times better. So now I feel like I could put the highlights and everything here. So I'm gonna do that. Now that looks kind of cool, but it's not the same color as this, which I don't like. I really don't like. I don't like that feeling of it. So what I'm gonna do is gonna go color pick it. If it allows me to go color pick it, and I will be saving soon because I've been working on this for a little while, so I think it's only fair that I save this work. Last thing I want is for an accident to happen and then everything crashes and then I lose all my work that I've been doing for this entire video. So, add the highlights, highlighted areas, I mean. And very bright area right there. And then this, it'll be like a slight tint of this. It makes it like the edge pop out a little bit, which I'm gonna probably do with in the volcano front also. I'm gonna go into object mode, go onto volcano front, click on draw mode, and then I'll be under color. Unlike that, lock that, I don't know. And then under color, I'm gonna do the little highlight area right there. Now this may not do a big difference, but it definitely feels like it would normally be a big impact in the way it overall feels. Does it? Yeah, it definitely does look like the light is coming from that side also. A lot more. Maybe have this area like this. Oh yeah, way better. Alright, so now we got all that done. Maybe have the light also hit up here. Yeah, it doesn't do much. So tab, object mode, go back to volcano back, and then in the volcano back, I'm gonna have an area where it's just gonna be called graded. Now the reason why I'm calling this part graded is because of the fact that it's gonna be the inside and is mainly gonna I'm volcano back, yeah. It's gonna be the inside and it's just gonna have it be, I don't know, I could have it be any color in general. I'm gonna have it be like a white or something like that, right? And then I'm just gonna essentially select everything from the inside. Voila. Now this graded area, which I could always just turn down the opacity for, it is essentially when the volcano erupts, I can have an effect like any sort of gradient effect affect this graded area, which will be as simple as adding actual gradient explode. I'll call this one gradient explode. And basically, by having it be called gradient explode, I just have it be called gradient explode, and I eat a little. Excuse me. Okay. So we have overall nice look for it, and I wanted to do this one, the trick that I was practicing on how to achieve yesterday, and it's gonna be for the background, which will be this one, background. So I'm gonna do the background really quickly. So I go to background, at the one to object mode, I'll add a new one, and then I'll call this one how many layers? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'll have this be called 6. And then I'm gonna call this I add a couple more, right? About 5 more. And then I'll call this one 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And this one should not even be there. Take that away. Okay, so the 6 is gonna be the one that's furthest away, and then the 1 is gonna be the one that's closest to us. This effect will be done really quickly. What I'm gonna do is hide everything. Oh, maybe like that, that, and I'll keep the base drawing. So under background, I'm gonna press tab, go into draw mode, and yep, just keeping that one clicked. I go onto a base color that I want for it to be, so I go for like a nice green or something like that, forested green or something like that. I don't know, whatever color I want. I kind of like it being maybe a greenish yellow, so something like that. And then basically what I'm gonna be doing is, since I'm in 6, I be going and then doing this, pressing shift, going across, adding the mountains off in the distance, and that's one. Hide it, go on to the next one, onto the next layer. Next one, same thing, mountains off in the distance. Now it doesn't matter how you do it, as long as you get everything clicked. Done. Okay. Next one, hide that one, go to 4. Now the reason why I hide them is so I can kind of see the rough sketch though. Because if I didn't have them hidden, I wouldn't be able to see the rough sketch. Now all of this is going to be put behind the what's it called? It's gonna be behind the mountain, the volcano. Hide that one. Go to 3. Same thing. Oh, let me unhide this one so I can see where it started. Okay. So there. Now we're very close to this. I messed up in there. Always start off on one end, end it at the other, right? Same thing. Hide. Go to the next layer. And then here, hide that one. Maybe this one. Yeah, I'll have one more. This one will be kind of more flat area. Alright. So now, if I unhide all of them, right? It all just looks like I just filled this all up with yellow. But if I go onto the tint, and then I take a bluish color like what I have right there, and then I make sure to click like this, slowly down, you can kind of see it affecting it. Now the best way I can get this effect to look, the best method I can see this effect working is like if I go here and then I actually tint them all like a dark color or whatever I want. So see, you already see the tinting happening. It like glitched out for a second there, but it worked. Oh, that reminds me, I need to save this. File, save. Make sure you always save your work. Alright, go back to the blue. Let's see, if I go and hide this layer, this one, this one, this one, this one. I'm just gonna tap. Or tap with my stylus. Or not, I just tap once. Go on to 5. Make sure it is visible. Tap on that one. Go to 4. Tap on that one. You can already see the background already fading, right? Tap on that one. Tap on that one. Now, I like how it looks right now, but I don't like the fact that it faded too much. So maybe for this one, I'll make it even brighter. So if you tap like this, or tap in this corner right here, more than once. Or not like that. Alright. Alright, now we're getting somewhere. Go to 5. Oh no, to 1. And then click on this one. And now we should have a nice faded effect. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 layers, right? We hide that one. Yep, all of the other layers look like they're in place. Now, essentially what I'm gonna do is go onto object mode, right? And move this ones on the Y, and then move them more back than the volcano itself, because the volcano, the front and the back should be in front of everything, right? And then everything else should be in front of it. So if I go onto 0, right? Now you guys can see what I'm talking about. If I take away the base, if I go to base drawing, and then I hide away the sky, well, not the sky, the sketches, right? And I'm gonna hide the clouds because the clouds seem to be having problems. You can already see how overall it's starting to look. And for this one, the background, I'm gonna scale it on the X so it covers more space, or maybe scale it down a little on the X again too. We'll press G on the X and move it over. And then I could do the same, very similar effect in the front with the volcano and everything. Yeah. So right now it's starting to look like this. Which is not bad. Although I do feel like they need like a slight yellowish tint, because everything has like a nice yellowish tint, but this has like a blue. Or maybe I could take this base drawing, right, and then go onto the sky, which should have a gradient, or not the sky, but like go onto the material for the sky, which should be here, right, the gradient. And then I'm just gonna tweak it out, make sure not too bright, maybe, yeah. Maybe I'll also take this color, maybe make it more darker. Alright. Alright. Now it looks like a lot better. I feel like this surface of the volcano needs to go. I'm not sure if it's just me. Wow, the quality of my stream just went down majorly. I'm sorry to anybody that's watching this on a stream. I'm usually not streaming for the specific reasons. Alright, so now that we got everything established from the ground up. Oh, and I'm thinking I could move this up a little. Yeah, that looks a lot better. So now, and everything's moving. See? Maybe not that much. Yeah. So then we have an establishing horizon. The horizon should be somewhere around here, but you know, everything, there's still mountains off in the distance, obviously. And we're looking at this from an uphill area. Okay. Let's go to the volcano back, and since we're in object mode, we can see the distance between the front and the back, which is good, right? Now what we can do is press Shift A, add a new grease pencil, and I'm gonna call this one lava. And I'm gonna add a new one, well, add another one, and I'm gonna call this one smoke. Oh, you know what? I could just have the lava and the smoke in the same object. What am I doing? Alright. So, oh, and let me fix up the clouds. So for clouds, I'm gonna have clouds front, because they all seem like they're in front. Why is it not allowing me to rename it? Clouds. Huh. Cloud front. And then I'm gonna have another one. New grease pencil blank. And then I'm gonna move, I'll move that one back a little. Clouds back. Okay, so I got the front of the clouds and the back of the clouds, and we can already establish which ones are gonna be front and which ones are gonna be back. I almost said black, which would make absolutely no sense. Because all of this ones down here are the back clouds. So all those are gonna go behind, so I'm gonna press Control C, and then I go onto tab, what's it called, object mode, back up the clouds, add a new layer. This one's gonna be clouds B for back, and then I'm gonna go onto edit mode, Control V, and click out of it. So now if I had the front of the clouds, right, I should in theory still have the back ones. For some odd reason, these clouds are in front, so I'm gonna make sure I go on to edit mode and I click on everything, scale it on the X, no, on the Y, 0, and then object mode. Now the reason why I scaled it on 0, which for some odd reason did not work, scale on the, let me take my proportional vertex editing out. Okay, scale on the X, no, on the Y. Individual origins. Medium point. Scale on the Y, 0. 7. That way I can kind of see where is this G, where is the where's this origin? Object mode. Now its origin was somewhere in between the this one, behind the first one. Edit. So I go into object mode, click on it, press G on the Y, and then bring it back a little bit. So then here, voila! Finally, got those fixed. Maybe scale it up a little. G. Alright, so now that looks really nice. What else? And then shods? What the heck are shods? That's what happens when you try typing really quickly and then the L doesn't show up. Clouds. Back. And clouds front. So wait, did I paste the back ones in the front area and the front ones in the back? Oh, darn it. That's fine. I'll just rename them. G. Oh no, these are the fronts. So the back ones. The back ones I moved up a little. So the front ones, I could go to that and then go on to edit mode. Since I have them all selected, I could just press X and then I just delete all the points. And then I go onto object mode, click out of that, and now if we see the animation, for some odd reason that disappeared. Oh, that makes sense. Now I see what's going on. So now it's back. Man, the heck did I do? Okay. Meaning that this one should also have edit mode. So object mode, front. Let me hide the back ones. Okay. Let's see how that looks so far. And if we put the back ones, now for this ones, we can actually add a filter, an effect onto them, which is probably gonna be give it like much more character, and it'll be the noise one. Because after all, wind affects it, so why not? And then same thing here, noise. Bring the noise down. Actually bring it up a lot, and then work with the thickness. So then, now, through it all, maybe not that much, no thickness. Maybe not that strong. Because right now it looks like it's like jumping way too much all over the place, which is not a good result, just letting you guys know. A nice result will be it not jumping all over the place, just like slightly moving around. Alright, so I just move that just like that. And what I could do is, if I go to object mode, right, if I click on this one, right, I could press I, location, location, rotation, right, and then I think it was frame 60 or no, 40 something. It may have been 60. Alright, so in frame 60, I'm gonna rotate it on the X just a tiny bit, and then press G, and then bring those ones up a little, and then press I, location, rotation, and then if I go from grease pencil to like action editor, I could just bring this one a little bit out that way. Alright, so object mode. No, grease pencil. So it stays in the same frame. It stays the same. It's just that it's just slightly moving a little. So if I click out of it, now the clouds look like they're moving a little, and they should be slightly tilting a little bit higher, like moving a little bit higher, giving the illusion that the camera is moving closer, and as a result the clouds are moving higher. But as much as I like that, I feel like it should be a lot higher than that. So object mode, action editor, click on it, press G, rotate that a little bit more, G, and then press I, location and rotation. Okay, let's try that again. Well, I'm still in object mode, so press play. Now everything looks like it's coming closer, and as a result the clouds are going up and everything's like coming into view. Alright, and then when the camera stops, that's when everything kind of stays still, but the clouds still move a little, which gives the illusion like there's still wind affecting it. Alright, besides that effect, I feel like I should do some sort of effect right here with this area of the volcano. Maybe add more mountains leading to it, or add like trees or something often going towards it. I don't know. Maybe I won't add much. Maybe some, but I do want some vegetation, because right now it's just mountains and everything, and no vegetation. So I'm gonna go to foreground, which should have the volcano if I'm correct. Let's see. No, that's where is it? Volcano front, in the volcano front area. I'm gonna add a layer above the color, and I call this vegetation. Usually I like to establish my scene first, and then the animate and the fun part of it I leave for last, because that's, you know, that doesn't take too long. Like the animation of it all doesn't take too long to create little effects where lava's like sprinkling out. That doesn't take too long. The cloud effect maybe a little bit longer, and the gradient of the sky and everything like that, that doesn't take too long either. So okay, and I don't think we need to change this area right here, but I do think that we should change this color right here. Color, tab, edit mode, press L, if I press, I want to tint it, but I don't want to tint everything else. So maybe if I go to, if I move it to vegetation, I press M, and then I'm gonna go move it to vegetation. So then when I'm in vegetation, I can lock it. Essentially, what I could do is go onto draw mode, tint it, and I want to tint it a slight green. And tap. And just tap a couple times until it looks okay. And I think that looks like a nice green, not too strong. Maybe now I'll add, no, I'll press edit mode, M, and then move it to what's it called, M, color, and then if I go to, what's it called, draw mode again, it is under color, and under vegetation I have absolutely nothing. So what I'm thinking is I'll add like little trees, and then have those I'm thinking, because like if I add the effect that I'm thinking of adding, it won't work very well here. So I press minus that. But the vegetation thing is something that I can have as its own layer here, because I can have its own effect onto that layer. Alright, so I'm gonna add another one. Go to object mode, tap, shift A, another grease pencil, blank. I'm gonna call this one vegetation, veg, or just veg for vegetables or veggies. Trees, and then I have this one be not just the trees. Now the trees can go all the way off over here for OAK here, right? So first things, let's hide the foreground. We don't need the foreground. We just need to draw on top of this, right? So tab, click on this, or click on the vegetation. Blender was like glitching out again. So go into vegetation, press tab, draw, also save this again, You want to save this as often as possible, especially if you're really far into the project that you're working on. And now, if I go down, I feel like I need the fan blowing on my computer for how long it's been running. Better. So now I have my computer cooling off a little bit more. USB powered fan stuff, you know. So now I click on this color, right? Make it slightly darker, maybe a little bit more towards yellow. And since it's on the trees, I'm gonna draw some trees. Now you may notice it didn't go above it, so what you would need to do for that to work is that we would go onto object mode, see where it is, press G on the Y, and then move it slightly above the volcano. Now if I go back to draw mode, now you can kind of see them. So what I want to do is essentially create a bunch of different kinds of trees, pine trees. You know, very tiny ones though. Compared to, because pine trees are pretty big, but in comparison to this volcano, they're gonna be tiny. And what I'm essentially doing is taking this. Oh, I should just add that color to it, make it slightly darker, maybe a little bit more brown. Add that color too. And this one, I'm going to be using it for some of the tree parts, right? To give the trees something that makes them pop out from one another. And then I can make it much brighter, and then I'm gonna take it like this, and then I'm gonna be adding this one also to this, and then having that just touch the trees that are in the light, kind of like that. And essentially what we could be doing is, after we make a couple, like what we've done, what I've done so far, just a bunch of sticks here, there, further off. This area is not going to be very visible, but if any of it is visible, I want to have some nice trees. And then the reason why I'm doing it like this, like kind of messy right here, is because all of this is supposed to have like trees off in the distance. Then make it slightly darker, no, brighter. Click on the bright color, and then pass it over just like a small amount. Boom, 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 boom. and you can already see a slight difference in like a small scale. It's not that big of a difference, but it does impact the big picture. So a bunch of sticks. I was trying to calculate as many sticks as I had drawn. Time to make some trees. The ones in the dark is just gonna have the dark color and stuff. But the ones in the light, it's gonna have a mixture of both colors. Now, it doesn't matter if you don't get it exact or anything like this. It's just to give a nice look, like if there is some sort of actual scene. And if you didn't learn anything into this video, you know, you just let me know what you wanted to learn, and if I taught it to you, and if I didn't, how can you pull off certain techniques? You know, there's a lot of things that have to do with the fact that certain layers are further away from one another. Usually, I could pull off this whole entire image all within a couple layers, but it really restricts an animation, because whenever you're trying to have an animation where there is some sort of parallax effect, you have to have multiple objects as layers, or different objects off in the distance and stuff like that. You gotta make sure that they're different objects, because from what I can tell, Blender, it doesn't work very well when it comes across like a problem that it has never faced. Like if I if I was trying to pull off the clouds, like if you notice at the beginning, like all the clouds were very similar to like not similar, they were like bending and stuff like that, and it was like really nice and everything like that. But there's a big problem going on where some of the clouds you could barely tell what was going on. Since this is really far off, this where in this areas, the edges, that's where it will look kind of more like grass. Alright, now the light. I don't think I got every single stick area, but that's fine. And this is gonna be a very short animation anyway, so as long as I get something right. Alright. Now we're getting somewhere, right? Maybe I'll put highlights in those. And obviously the darker part, right? This every single tree is supposed to have this area that is darker. Especially the trees in the shade, they're gonna have it even more. So that's what I'm gonna be focusing on, the trees in the shade now, since I did the light and everything. for the ones that are in the dark. Alright. This is coming out really nice. For a very quick made animation sample scene, or not sample scene, but like scene. This just goes to show you can definitely pull off making like full-on animations in Blender. It obviously will take a little bit longer, but you know, you can definitely do it. And I'm going back and forth with the colors, making sure I get like a nice look, like if there's a bunch of trees. Since the light is coming from one side, it's having a bunch of this light color gives the illusion that there's like a bunch of trees. That's spots. Alright. Now let's bring back the foreground, which will be boom. And see the animation that's coming along. Oh, that's already looking like 20 times better. Looks like a nice area. The volcano doesn't have any effects going on with it yet, but it is getting there, and it is looking like really, really nice. I like it already. I do want to have like this nice faded look with the clouds, like in the background, because like we have this big clouds, right, which are kind of like the main clouds that we're gonna be seeing, but there's obviously clouds off in the distance, so I want to have something to indicate that, which would be as simple as going onto the clouds in the back, right, or pressing tab, make sure that you're in object mode, or else you won't be able to do that. Far back clouds. So far back clouds, and in the far back clouds, I'm gonna make sure that they're underneath the clouds in the back. So now I'm gonna take this and go onto draw mode, right? And essentially, I should be clicking on the one that has the clouds, which would be this one, this brush, right? And if I do make it smaller or something like that, F. Wow, that is a lot bigger than I thought it should be. What is going on? F. Make sure to scale that down majorly. Not that much though. F. Alright. Scroll down with this. I don't need to look at the settings for that. I just want to have like some nice colors, and I'm gonna pick this color. Make sure I do have it selected, and then I'm just gonna be going like this. Did it work? Maybe turn down the opacity. That doesn't seem like it did much. And then have it be us. Doesn't seem to have done anything. Hard light. Regular. Maybe I'll get rid of this, and instead of doing it in the far back clouds, I'll do it in the background, which will be background. No, on the base drawing that had the sky. So all this one, clouds. I missed the O. Clouds. And I think if I go to draw mode, I think I should scale this up a little bit more. Oh yeah, definitely much better. I'm just hoping that it's going through. Get the illusion that it is building onto another. Some of them are bigger than others. They're really far off in the distance. Alright, now that looks like 20 times better, and I could just leave it like that, right? Because now if I press play, now one thing I did notice, the clouds are going over the background. Don't like that. Or over this area right here. Definitely do not like that. Luckily those do not move much, so I gotta make sure to avoid clouds are getting too close to the area. Good. So far everything looks nice. If I go for a darker color, I can do that, same thing. Just go back to the first layer, pass it over some of it. So it gives it like some nice shade. So it doesn't look like it's so flat. And then I could do the same effect, press tab, and then go onto object mode, and then go onto the clouds back, and then clouds front, right? Clouds back, and go onto draw mode, and then I'm gonna use the tint brush right here, and then I'm gonna pass it over some of it, like this. Because I do think that that area should be dark. I bet it has like a light brim or something like that. I don't like it. Maybe I don't. I shouldn't be tinting it. More like adding to it. So I'm gonna do that. Instead of tinting it, I'll add to it. I press F, make it a little bit bigger. I see that it's doing that. I don't know why it's doing that though. Bounce back. This is regular. Use light. All if I don't use light. No, use light gives a better look. Alright. If I go to object mode, right? Essentially, what I want to do is, oh, excuse me, add a light and call this one be a point. Well, not call it something. Have it be a point light, and just based upon everything, depending on where I put it, it should have been affecting everything, which should be somewhere here, right? Make it yellow, and then go into render view to see how that looks. If I had the light compared to not having it hidden, how much? What does it do? So far, it doesn't look like it's doing much, which is slightly surprising. Sunlight. Does the sunlight do anything? It looks like it did. Rotate. Maybe rotate it like. It looks like it's affecting the clouds, but from one side. And the background too, but from this side, which is kind of odd. It's affecting it from the opposite direction. Rotate, and then press Z. Maybe having it be this way. Oh wow, that definitely does some major differences. Maybe make it a slight more blue. Oh wow, that is huge difference. I like that already. Yeah, definitely like that. Look, maybe not so strong though. So I could still get some of that yellow, and then have it be nice bluish light. Oh wow, that is beautiful. The effects I could do pull off with this, like if I wanted it to like look like it's really burning everything. Oh, that looks cool. So definitely gonna be working with this light a lot. Alright, maybe not so blue. Maybe how does light green look? I like that. That looks like a nice sunset-ish look. And that looks more like if it's really warm outside. I like that pinkish glow. I definitely like this. Okay, let's see how that looks. Oh, that is a beautiful look for an animation. I'm thinking for the foreground, and I have it have an effect onto it. Maybe the noise or something like that. Not that strong though. Again, very slight amount. So it looks like it's slightly moving a little. Although you can't tell. So maybe instead of it being with position, maybe it is thickness wise. Varying in thickness for a lot of the things. Alright. How does that look? Not too thick though. Maybe. Yeah. So you can still tell what type of character that he's a character there. So now it looks like it's slightly warping, like changing it, but it's so subtle. Wow. To think that all it took was just having one light, and then all of a sudden it like gave life to this whole entire animation. This like where I like to get my the idea from, like what where I like the animation takes life. Mostly it's like the lighting. You get like really nice lighting, and all of a sudden everything just like takes a completely different life. And if I press rotate on the side, I can see some like having it moved away, how that affects it. Having it moved this way, how that affects it. Maybe somewhere around there. I kind of like that. Maybe I'll like work with the sunset, which would be under materials. If I go to here, or not that one, I'll go to face drawing, because that's the one that has the gradient. If I go to the gradient and I pick a really dark blue, really nice blue, it should complement it a little bit more. Maybe have the blending happen a little bit more than what I was expecting it to. Like, much more. I'm like looking at the small thumbnail of it, but that's that video is slightly behind. Alright, I like that. Although for some odd reason in the recording it looks a lot different. Here I went from like a nice yellowish tone to like a purplish tone, which I don't mind. I really don't mind. I call this world well, with a point. I call this one sun light, sunlight, and then I take that and then I bring it all the way up here. I can't really move it. It just categorizes itself. Rotate it on this head. I really like some of the effects and how it works with it. Like right there, it looks like night. But then, the more I go over here, and the more it points at it, the more it like pops to me. So if I want it to be dark and then be like almost fiery, then I could do that. I like the yellowish tones that I had before. But the blue now looks darker in this. Like really dark. I don't like that. Maybe you make it brighter. Alright. Yeah, that seems about right. Okay. Well, now that we have the whole entire world kind of established, and the lighting and everything is there too, we can go on to the next step. Which, by the way, if we had a light underneath it, like a sunlight underneath it, we can have, and if we had all of this one slightly spread apart, we can have a nice glowing effect coming out of it. But anyways, we're gonna get down right through it to it and animate the volcano, because that's mainly what you came for. You know, it's been like 2 hours and something, and all we've done is animate everything except the volcano. But I tend to do that a lot. I want to animate the volcano, so I animate everything so it tells like a story. Although I don't really need to animate the trees and everything like that. And some of the things, like some of the techniques I do, it's just for practicing. Alright, so this is before. Well, this is how it would look right now without any coloring or anything like that, like any light being affecting it, right? And now this is with the light affecting it, like pops. I should put more lights on my stuff. This is like awesome, and I like the fact that it goes right through the cloud a little, so all the messed up, all the messiness from it makes it look more like a cloud now. Oh, I forgot I was gonna put the sun. But since sunset, I think I'll leave it like this. Although it should be more like down here. So in the, what's it called, the face drawing, instead of having the sun be up here, well, actually I should have it up here. Maybe I could have this be flipped colors. Maybe a much more common blue that you see in the skies. Oh, this is taking forever to like respond to me all of a sudden. Normally it would allow me to scroll around, but well, kinda like that, but not too much. Come just move it. You know what? I'll type it. 0.05. How does that look? About 0.1. 0.3. Not bad. I like that, and it kind of gives the illusion that the sun is somewhere off in the distance. I don't really need the sun. Although, if I was gonna put it, I would put it in the background area, not the base drawing. And I'll go here where the layers are at, and it will go above the sky, below the clouds. Sun. And for the sun, it is as simple as pressing tab, going onto draw mode, and then adding a circle right there. Oh, I kind of like that little glow effect that this has. I'll press enter. Alright, and make sure that that's the only thing we're gonna be seeing right now. And if I go to fill, if I do right, and then or no, tint, because I want to tint it first. I want to tint it a excuse me, a yellow. Now, if I go to the paint bucket and I go to slightly a little bit more orange than yellow, and I click, it should fill in the inside. Maybe a little bit more orange. Click. Look, should be yellow, yeah. And then I can go draw mode or edit mode, pick it, see, put it where the sunlight is coming from, scale that up, medium point. So only selecting these things, right? Just go. Tap out of it. Onto object mode. And make sure that everything is visible now. Except the sketch. The sketches could go away. Hide those puppies. So this is how it's coming along. If I press F12, it will render it out. Obviously, without the light thing right there. Now to create the lava and everything, it will be under this layer, which is called lava, and then I add two effects onto it. One is gonna be called the smoke, and then the other one is gonna be called the lava. So now we got the smoke and the lava, and this is where it gets really intense and interesting, because what I'm planning to do is start animating it as soon as it gets to frame 60. So here, because or 61, because on frame 60 is when it stops. So I'm just gonna give it like, or no, 62. I'm gonna give it 2 frames after it stops. So then it starts up changing colors. It starts doing all sorts of things, and then for the volcano back or something, that's where I could do the gradient effect to affect the white area. Okay, so first let's go with the smoke, because first you're gonna start seeing the smoke before you start seeing the lava itself. And I'm going to draw mode, and I'm gonna click on, let's see, should I go with the glass? Yeah, I'll stick with the glass. And I go with like a dark one, like a darkish brown, and then I'm just gonna start drawing, seeing how that looks. Okay. Now what I'm thinking is to save us some time and you know, better render time and stuff like that. What I'm gonna do is animate into 0. I'm gonna take away the line, hide almost everything. Vegetation, hide the clouds in the back, the foreground. Where's the foreground? Hide the foreground. Keep the lava. The volcano itself and everything. You know, I hide the part, right? Because we only need to see the back for everything to actually be animated, right? And for the volcano back, what I'm gonna do is contact back, and then what I want to do is go to I wonder if there's like an overall opacity thing for this. Well, not opacity for this. Maybe I'll hide the lines, and I'll hide the color. Oh, I deleted the lines. I'll try not to delete it. Alright, so for the gradient, explosion, I'll keep it like that. I should hide everything except lines. And then the lines, I'm gonna take this and turn the opacity low. So then we could just focus on animating this part right here. Draw more. Right, the smoke. So we just start blocking in the smoke. Make sure to go 2 frames before that. I'll start adding a little bit of smoke there, here, like this. 2 frames. So essentially every 2 frames or something like that, I'm doing a bigger smoke cloud than what I had before. And I'm just filling it in like that. Doesn't matter if it's good or not. Just get the rest. 2. And because of the fact that it's not, or because of the fact that I'm doing it like this, I can always tint something if I want to. 2 more frames. I'm animating 2, that's what it's called that way. No, if you want to see the previous story, you just do that, and then you can see where everything's left at. And so you can kind of go according to that, according to this, and this doesn't follow much rules other than it clumps together. I'll just clump it together. It has to do this really quickly. You know, hiding everything should have saved me a lot of time. This glitches less. 2 more layers. Maybe this one like this. And fill it in. I'm doing a dark reddish brown because usually the clouds tend to be like a really dark center occasion, but I want this color to be as base. Make the cloud bigger. I guess it's expanding this way and this way. And it's like building up, so that you know normally be able to see it later on and see how it clumps up. So far, it starts off with nothing, and then after it gets to the right point, you start seeing the lava and everything just like start pushing, and you know, warping that smoke in whatever way it can, pushing it, pulling it, you know, you name it, it does it to the smoke. now I'm getting all the way to the top of the screen. I'm drawing in circles, just letting you guys know, and also just straight lines like this sometimes. And I click or let go so I can kind of see what I have to work with. Maybe I'll have like a clump that broke off or something. Like a train, this would look, or like, and I go slow, so then I could get like a really nice effect going on right here. Because right now, if I don't do it slow, then it's gonna be very see-through. It's not really the goal. You want it to be really dark. Although it's gonna be, I'm gonna go over this again. Two more frames. Not two more frames, but like more. And then it looks like at this point it should be going like this, right? And then it covers all of this area. I'm just coloring it in like if it was pencil and paper. You can try doing the same method in like pencil and paper. You just take every two pictures, you just slightly change it, or every picture you just change it just a tiny amount, and you know, eventually you get your smoke looking like it's going up. So now it's just you have it go in space, right? And then at the gets the right spot, it starts smoking up. And then you saw how it looks like it was like a fire almost. Because it looked like it was just slightly like a small amount. Or maybe I can have it be throwing the smoke just a little bit before, like in frame 4 or something like that. I'll have it be very slight smoke coming through. And then let's do grease pencil because you can't see anything from there right now. Alright. And I'm just essentially making just lines here and there, seeing how that looks. Going for frame, making sure it looks like there's like smoke coming out of it, and then it looks like it's building up. It looks like it's building up a bit more. And it starts going into it. This frame right here should have a little bit more action going on. And if I press 0 to this, like does that, but if I press point, it should zoom in. So, so what I'm thinking is I bring this frame back a little, this one back a little, and this one back right there. Now it looks like it's smoking out of there. And then here, wait a couple frames, right? Or no, and do this part right here, where I go here, and instead of redrawing this whole entire section, I'm just gonna press I. Nope, that's not what I wanted. How is it interpolating it? I, and then insert active keyframe, right? So then I can erase this part here. I'm essentially erasing areas. And then the smoke, I definitely will do some sort of effect onto it. Like make it even more jittery. I'm hoping that the live stream's going well, because right now it's still saying forward streaming. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do this right here, and this will go like that, like if it was joining in. I'll go like that, and 2 more frames down. Same thing. Duplicate active frame. Now the reason why I'm not moving this much is because it saved me a lot, and I could just add more to this smoke like that. So I'm already at the point where every single frame that I'm doing is just basically adding to it. But I do want that happening, so for that work, I will need to have this, press that, and then sculpt mode, right? Zoom out majorly, and just start sculpting this, so it makes it look like all the markings are going up. And then press him out of it. Up mode, no, draw mode, and if I play right through it, so far it looks like just an area, it starts throwing smoke, and then all of a sudden you see now it's doing that sort of effect, and I want the same silhouette over and over. If anything, slightly bigger than before. And by doing the lines kind of like an angle, it kind of gives the illusion that some of the markings, some of the like the smoke is going up and then making turns, choosing its own path. Maybe it's dividing up into like little sections right here, and then fill in all this area. It was a lot of copy pasting, but at the same I thought, but at the same time it's not. Alright. The smoke is gonna be there for a pretty long time. Maybe it goes thicker. It's definitely gonna take up a lot of the sky. And it feels like it's gonna be spreading out like this in some areas. And then some of the smoke is coming down too. So make sure to animate that part. And fill it in all over again. Now this is this one of the more calming, relaxing parts of the animation process. It takes a while to do. Of course, you can always do effects to pull this out. You can always do like some sort of noise and have just a masked out area, and then with that masked out area, you can always take that and then create this effect with it, where it looks like that. But of course, you know, that's more advanced than what I'm used to. I'm used to more frame by frame animation. Uh, there is obviously logical ways to do things that make it easier, and then there's ways that make it really complex and are advanced methods. So I'd rather just stick with what I know right now. Since this whole entire area is gonna get shaded, do another solid pass like that. Okay. I wonder if I go onto like frame 150, right? Because this is supposed to be like a 200 frame animation. Oh, that's gonna take me forever. If I go up to 150, right, and I do same thing as I was doing here, right, like that. And do this part right here. I don't know how many strokes I did, but if I just do, I guess this frame, right, and I try interpolating in between those two, does it work? Or would it give like really weird effects? Because if I can interpolate to it and then get like some really there's gonna be some lines that don't make any sense. Normally when you interpolate, you have it calculated, like where you want it to go from what line to what line. But for this smoke, I don't have it calculated. I just have it like random, right? So because I have it random, does it affect it in a bad way, or like in a negative manner, or in a positive manner? Oh yeah. Alright. Feel like I should have an area right there too. Alright. Let's see, if I go here and then I go tab and then edit mode, right? Automatically press this, it should interpolate them. So how does that look? Did it save me any time? It does not look like it saved me any time. Animating the smoke obviously takes the longest from all the animation parts from it. But I thought if I could get this smoke done, that would be awesome. Maybe I should come up with like a method of approaching this. So far it's just going down and up and down and up. So from side to side, I do that side to side. Okay. So based upon that, if I go to frame, let's see if it's going by twos. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. And I try it out like that. Just animate this area. So something like this. And then it's gonna go like that. And then here, this, go up. Almost. I'm trying to do it all in one take, right? So if I could do it all one go, right? Maybe I could potentially interpolate it. So that takes care of that, right? And if I go here, and I go into tab, edit mode, right? That's it. And then I press to interpolate. Doesn't do it right. Okay. Seems like they're empty though. Yeah, it looks like empty keyframes. Odd. Maybe instead of it being done in that amount of frames, I could potentially just scale it. So it looks like it's taking longer, right? Saving me some time. Okay. Now, if I bring back the front of the volcano, okay, so it was getting somewhere. I like the fact that it was going to the sides. I feel like it should be darker though. Or maybe I can make the cloud brush bigger. Yeah, I think I'm gonna make the cloud brush bigger. So I don't have to clump it up so much. Like you see that, it's very see-through. I don't like that. And this frame doesn't even, seems like it doesn't even have that bottom part. That part I don't mind. That part I like. This part that looks like a bunny with wings. I do not. That's called. What's wrong? And I press F. Make it really big. Make sure I click on the one. want to make sure I can see the previous one, not the next one. So how can I go about doing that, right? So this you can see the layer that's gonna come afterwards, but not the layer no, the layer that's before, not the one afterwards. And then display shade. No, don't shade. Because right now if it's shaded, it's like way darker than what it should. And I don't like that. And I want the background to be visible. And this. So overall, in comparison to everything, you can kind of see the picture. I want to see the big picture always. That's what it was, the sunlight. I was like, why isn't the sun showing up? Press tab, object mode. I'm probably gonna have to end the stream short because it keeps having problems. Sadly for anybody that's watching, although I didn't see any comments. Wait, what was I trying to pull off? I am. Oh, that's what it was. I was trying to go to theirs and make sure I could see the colors. And for this one, I call this one Lava Gradient. Lava Gradient. I want it to be fill, I want it to be gradient, and I want it to be without any strokes. What else? Linear? No, I want it to be radial. And I want it to have a nice red. And a yellow. Very bright yellow. Maybe something around that. The lines are over here. So like kind of like the one I have right there. Alright. And now what I do is I would go onto draw mode. Pick the gradient, the lava gradient. Then right there, like that. And I want to make sure that that gradient has a mask to the graded. Now, why did I do this like that? It's because I could essentially go from having it like this